motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because chances are you are the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, David Goggins, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Be mentally strong.
The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it, eventually you act upon it. If life is beating you down, and it's hurting you, and your internal dialogue is, man, life is kicking my ass.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was in SEAL training, when I was in Ranger school, when I was growing up, I started realizing, man, if you have a can't hurt me mentality, if you're getting bullied like I got bullied, if you're struggling, if you're failing, if you're falling out in life, if your mind is telling you, hey, we're in the fight, we're not going anywhere, you can't hurt me. No matter what you do to me, no matter what you bring on me, no matter how bad life is, I'm going to be right here standing right in the middle of the ring, and the ring is the ring of life.
Yeah.
It's just a mantra that you say to yourself, like, hey, you know what, whatever, man, bring it. Bring it.
Become very dangerous when you have this idea that you can't be hurt or killed.
That's right. Bring it.
Rule number 2, go dark.
How does someone who's ordinary or listening or watching get more committed, achieve more success?
The biggest thing you have to do is shut off technology. You have to go dark. And what I mean by that is you have to be quiet in your mind. Get away from people. We love being around people. We love talking. We love parties. We love all that shit. It's okay to be alone. It's also okay to be unhappy. It's okay to be unhappy sometimes, man. It's okay to say, you know what, man, I'm f***ed up. So you gotta go to the truth first. Who are you? Get really accountable and say, okay, who am I? What's the truth about me? Get to that dark place in your mind. Figure out, it may take months, it may take years. Figure out your purpose. Figure out what you wanna be in life. And then from there, okay, I have my purpose. It may take a long time. No one knows their purpose because it's too loud. Find your purpose. From there, all right, you gotta start planning. People love the planning phase because it's very comfortable. Then from the planning phase, you gotta go to execution. So the execution phase where we all hate, because that's where the real work begins, and that's when the failure happens, and the failure. So, but you know, that's kind of how you have to do it.
Rule number 3, don't seek balance.
Do you think there's, I don't know if balance is the right word, but do you think there is a point in time where you can sit back and say, let me take this in a little bit?
I, for a long time, was probably the most unbalanced on the planet Earth. And I took great pride in that.
Yeah.
It was on purpose. It was on purpose because I knew for me to get to where I wanted to go, where I had to go, there could be no balance. There could be no, well, 8 hours a day, I do this, and then
no 9 to 5.
No,
right?
no. It had to be. I'm such in a f***ed up spot in my life. I'm such in a dark place that if I don't dedicate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year to becoming a better human being, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so the people who were in my family had to realize, hey, I'm sorry that you may think I'm neglecting you right now, but if I don't fix myself, I won't be good for anybody. So yeah, I became very unbalanced for a long time. Balance is important, but you have to first go to war with yourself. You got to figure out what you're about and be proud of who you are before you start to get that teeter-totter nice and balanced out. So
yeah, that makes sense. I think if I'm hearing you right, what I hear is that in order to create maybe some of that balance down the road, you have to get a foundation under you.
That's right.
Right? If you don't have that foundational knowledge of who you are and how you show up and what you're capable of, yeah, it's pretty hard to walk in any sort of balance between work and career and family and all the other things that you have going on.
That's right. So if you read my book and you see what goes on, you'll see how many mistakes I make along the way trying to find balance, trying to find peace in myself, and I f*** myself all up. I'm having relationships. I'm having, I get a girl, knocked up. She's pregnant. Now I'm in the worst spot of my life. I don't have a real job. I'm going through SEAL training. I haven't graduated SEAL training. I'm going back through SEAL training for the 3rd time. And now I have a girl that's pregnant. I'm all over the place. I don't have, I have no money. I have nothing. And I'm establishing a life with a family, and I'm all up. So, a lot of us get in situations where we start establishing all these different things and pop up all these different pop-up boxes, and our life is because we haven't fixed ourselves. Until you fix yourself, don't start another journey before you finish your own journey first, or not finish it, but at least get a good, foot start into it.
Rule number 4, understand the power of the mind.
So I'm the only person in the history of Navy SEAL training to go through 3 Hell Weeks in 1 year.
Can you explain a little bit what Hell Week is? Because I heard it on your audiobook a lot.
Yeah,
and it just sounds like a painful moment that very few people are able to handle it.
It is a very long, painful moment. So I don't know what week it is, but for me, it was my 3rd week. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's your 3rd, 4th, or 5th week in Navy SEAL training. Navy SEAL training is 6 months long. And this is like the biggest crucible in Navy SEAL. It probably in all of Special Forces, Special Ops. It's 130 hours of continuous training. And you might get 2 hours of sleep. And the whole idea is you start on Sunday and you end on Friday. You might get 2 hours of sleep. And the whole idea of this training is to get a man and break him down to nothing. And that's where you see what a man's made of. So to make it through 1, most people say, I'm never going back through again. So I was fortunate, God blessed me. So I started looking at these failures as blessings. Because with all these failures and all these bullies and all these being abused and my learning disabilities and stuttering and everything I had in my life, they are really gifts.
Yeah.
They're gifts. And it's not some psychological babble book that I'm using to say, oh no, my life wasn't that bad. No, my life sucked. But they truly were gifts because all these different trials and tribulations led my mind to where it's at now. So Hell Week, once again, 130 hours. You get 2 hours of sleep maybe, and they beat the shit out of you. Beating like push-ups, sit-ups. And it's near the Pacific Ocean. So you're out in the Pacific Ocean, back in, and that water's freezing. And so you see these men, these great men that I watched on TV, I'm now with them. And for the longest time, I put people who had better childhoods, better grades, better this, better that, I put them all above me. But now I'm on the same playing field as them. So when you get on the same playing field as these men who you think are better than you look at them eye to eye, and you realize that they're not. So once again, I'm starting to do all this live autopsy shit, like saying, God, man, you were mind yourself your whole life, thinking that this person came from a nicer house, better education, better mom, better dad, and they're better than you. It's not the case. You have this in you. You may have to dig a little deeper to find it. Their family may have started them off a lot better than you, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. So I started really realizing how powerful the mind was in that 3rd Hell Week.
Also, if you want to build more confidence, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to successfully build a habit. So I've created a free program for you where every day for 254 days, I will send you an unlisted video to your email, absolutely free, to help you build your confidence. The link to join is in the description below.
You will never learn from people if we always tap dance around the truth. It's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also comes with work. So whenever I was getting beat down, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever I was going through, just saying, I would put, you can't hurt me. You can outwork anybody, no matter how badass they are.
Rule number 5, be relentless.
Talk to me about why it's important to be not reasonable.
Well, the thing about it is that you have to, especially this day and age, there's so much noise and negativity in this world. There's so many things that are attacking us virally, everywhere. Social media, everything is pretty much, a lot of things are against us in life. And a lot of times you may be standing alone. The only voice you may have is your own voice. The only pat on the back may be from yourself.
Yeah.
And so we are in a world where we're constantly looking for that attaboy. You may not get that attaboy. So if you're not relentless in your pursuit to be the very best person you can, it's not about being like me. It's about being whoever the hell you want to be. You have to have that kind of dog in you to realize I might be out here alone in the street, in the sewer of life, and I got to be able to fight on my own. And that's the whole, that's what it's all about, man. It's all about that. You got to be able to be your own motivator.
Yeah.
To times when there's no, like before a football game, basketball game, everybody's got these headphones on. They're trying to get pumped up. They're trying to get juiced up before the big game. Once those headphones come off, man, what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself when you get popped in your mouth? And that music's not playing in your ear. So that's the whole thing, man. You got to have an internal flame. And all I am is a kindling. All you need is a little kindling to start a whole big forest fire. So that's what it's all about, man.
Rule number 6, overcome yourself.
Is there any part of what you do in your day that actually you just really enjoy? It's not overcoming demons or overcoming voices. You just actually think, this just actually makes me happy and I really like it.
What's funny about all this?
Maybe she's sitting over there.
Oh, yeah. well, my fiance is one of them. But honestly, what's funny about this is people may hear all this and say, God, this guy's such a structured guy, talking about demons, getting over things. That sounds like his whole life. It's true, but I'm the most peaceful person on the planet Earth, even with like the conversation. I got to go to the gym. I have to do this, I have to do that. Every day I'm winning. Every day I'm winning the other voice in my head. So I'm at peace with myself. The things I do for fun are like me bettering myself.
Yeah.
I love sports. I love watching sports, but I also love accomplishing and overcoming myself every day. Because every day is a battle. Every day is a battle because your mind wants to choose the path of least resistance. Every day. But you don't become better by ever doing that. You become normal. And I don't want to be normal. So it may not be a life for everybody, but I find a lot of peace in not being normal in my life.
Rule number 7, pay the price.
I want to show you something I haven't shown anybody before.
Oh no, I don't know if we.
No, I'm not going to show you none of that stuff. So you see these little spots right here in my body?
Yeah.
You see this?
Yep.
So basically, everybody wonders what happened.
Right.
These are very small spots. I look like a leopard.
All over.
They were all over my body.
Really?
So just to give you some insight. So I've talked about it on several podcasts, but I haven't shown anybody like my leopard skin and what happened. So I can take off I can show you all kind of nastiness, man, but I'm not going to do that. I can show you my ears, and I'll show you one thing right now. This part right here, you see this little dry spot in my ear?
Oh, yeah.
And if I were to dig in my ear right now, nothing but shit would come out.
Really?
A whole bunch of crust. I'm taking you there. Why? This is a man's show.
That's right.
So we're going to go there.
Let's
right
go
now.
there.
Okay, we're going to go there. So I don't talk about it on most shows, but what happened was over a period of time of me literally trying to transform myself, and a guy asked me a question yesterday, man, am I paying now physically for what I put myself through? I said, yeah, I am. But what he doesn't understand was when I was 297 pounds and I was a piece of shit, I wasn't going anywhere in life, I asked myself that question before I decided to put myself through hell.
Are you willing to do it, or are you willing to pay the price?
Am I willing to do it, and I'm willing to pay the price after I f*** myself up? 'Cause I knew for me to get to where I wanted to go, I didn't have the ability. The ability was not there. So I knew I was going to break myself off to do it. Some people are born with this great talent. I wasn't smart. I wasn't some physical specimen. I wasn't any of that stuff. So I knew for me to go through all of this shit, at the end of it was going to be a broken man. So I did it, and in the process of doing it, I knew all along the way, I'm going to be f***ed up one day. And that time came. That time came. And in that book, that psoas muscle I'm talking about,
right,
literally for me being in that fight or flight mode and pushing way beyond what I thought was even possible. I kept on finding new limits as I was going on this journey. So, but in doing that, you're breaking your body down tremendously.
Sure, yeah.
So what happened to me was that psoas muscle attached to your lower body, your upper body. Mine became so tight that it literally left probably, I would say, baseball-sized lumps on my hip. And so these are my muscles that just tightened up up to my hip flexors.
And it was just contracting right there?
Just contracting right here. So I looked, I had two lumps like this were right here. And no one knew what the they were. And on the back of my head, I had a big lump on it. And you can kind of see it now.
Oh, right, yeah, I can.
But it used to be an extra 1.5 inches.
Really?
So this is where my sickness was coming from. So the doctors gave me all kind of medication, and slowly but surely I kept on getting worse and worse and worse.
Because you were going through the same type of training at this point, or were you hung up at this point?
So at this time, I'd already done like 19 years in the military.
Yeah.
I had done all these ultra races and all this other shit. So I had gone through the gamut. But no one knew that every time I got to the start line of an ultra race, I was broken at the start line. So I didn't go to this ultra race like, oh, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go, I'm all juiced
you
up.
weren't feeling awesome.
No, I went to start line and every damn race I ever did, broken. A lot of times I went to start line with stress fractures, compression tape on. If you look at me in that Badwater tape, in my first Badwater, you can see at the end of Badwater, there's a video before I get interviewed, and they're taking off the compression tape. I had that in the start line of the damn race.
You started with
so my mentality was animalistic. It was something that it was barbarian type of like a mentality. So, but that cost me. It cost me a lot. But and that's what happened to my body. My body slowly started to literally choke itself out. So I lost 2 inches of my height due to that psoas muscle that's attached to your T12. Just gripping down. So what you see here, all these little leopard spots on my body, is basically, as I started opening my body back up, infection and started coming out everywhere. So I got to the point, and I hid it from the SEAL teams for a long time. The last 2 years as a Navy SEAL, I couldn't Valsalva, which is clearing your ears to go underwater.
That depth was probably tough.
But luckily, we were diving Dregger systems, so you only go like 15, 20 feet. But still, at 15, 20 feet, you still got to equalize and get your Valsalva. So I was literally just busting my eardrums out to go down because all that earwax that's now coming up, I got so tight, my traps and everything shut off my eustachian tubes. So whenever the doctors would go, they'd go, hey, doc, I cannot clear my ears. They would go in and check my eardrum, and they'd be like, you have the cleanest ears I've ever seen in my life. You don't have any earwax. Why? The shit was trapped and cut off. So the second I opened all this shit up, and my fiance would tell you it's the grossest shit. It just comes out like for 2.5 years now.
Because it's been backed up in there.
It's a sick, and then the leopard spot, so I open something up, and infection. It's something that I could write a whole fucking book about. But now after 5 years of doing this shit, I am in the best shape of my entire life because my body, even going into SEAL training, because my childhood was so messed up.
Yeah.
And that psoas muscle starts to get tight then, that I went into SEAL training really out of shape, or as far as my health.
Sure.
And I would tape it up. My mentality was tape it up, man. I just taped it up and kept on going in it. And I paid the man, but it was worth it.
Rule number 8, believe in yourself.
I'm all about team. I'm not a selfish person.
Yeah.
But I've been in a lot of scenarios in life, man, where my whole team, like going through Hell Week, there's 6 people in the boat crew. There were several times where everybody, even including myself, we were all miserable. And no one was motivating anybody. It was every man for himself.
Uh-huh.
You're all in your own mind. You're miserable. You're cold. You don't want to be there anymore. And I realized I got to step up. So in all these endurance races I do, a lot of times in life, you're at home by yourself, living in your pile of shit. And that's the woe is me, poopy pants mentality that we have. A lot of times there's no team around you. There just isn't.
Yeah.
Because people have their own problems.
Yeah, exactly.
People have their own issues.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying don't have a great support group around you.
Yeah, I get it. No, I get it. But you just said something that's really important, because sometimes the team around you is all up too.
That's right. You cannot continue to lean on people all the time. And a lot of us say, well, oh, Tom, Mary, Sarah, John, they're going to pick me up today. You can't have that mentality.
Yeah.
You got to believe that you are the one that's going to be picking them up.
Rule number 9, keep fighting.
Life beat me the up bad. I mean, I was knocked out in the 12th round of a 15-round, heavyweight bout. I was knocked out. But what happened was in the 12th round, when the challenger turned his back on me, I was getting the fuck up. And I got up and won the next 3 rounds and knocked that motherfucker out in the 15th round. So that's my mind about can't hurt me. I was hurt, man. Like literally, I had to overcome so much those first 26 years of my life. And I still do every day today. It's not over.
Nah.
But the mentality of can't hurt me is just that. No matter what's in front of you, man, you have to face, you have to confront, you have to overcome and move forward. So my father, some of the kids that bullied me, my learning disabilities, all these things I went through in life, stuttering, had so many different issues, failing and failing and failing, I had to overcome them. Or they would have overcame me.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is use your insecurities as strength.
Once you got out of high school, like what moment in life was it when you just said, like, F with this, like I'm gonna work on? Did you work on all your weaknesses?
Oh, yes.
You changed yourself, right? Because I saw the picture before.
I was fat.
Before, yeah.
Right.
And now you look so healthy, so fit. You look like a perfect human being.
Well, what happened was, so when I graduated high school, I finally graduated. I finally passed the military entrance exam, the ASVAB.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an Air Force pararescueman, and I won't get deep into that, but I failed miserably at that. So I went from 175 pounds out of high school to 297 pounds within a 4-year period. So basically, I'm about 22 years old now, about 22 years old. I'm 297 pounds. I'm out of the Air Force, and my job is I'm spraying for cockroaches at a company called Ecolab. So I'm making $1,000 a month, and my job is from 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning to go around and spray for cockroaches. So every night for 6 months, I'm doing this job. So I finally get home one night, and trust me, it wasn't like overnight this happened. You're haunted by the mere fact that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Every day. And people who don't think that, you're lying to yourself. You are lying. So every day of my life, I'm haunted by my father, the kids that bullied me, my own insecurities. All these things were just roosting in the back of my head. So I'd be driving home at like 7 o'clock in the morning from an all-night shift, and all alone in my truck, and I'd be thinking, what the f***, man? My life is hell. So one day I came home, and I always come home and watch TV, and this show was on with like Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid of the water, terrified of the water. I sink like a rock. So I'm sitting there watching these guys going through Navy SEAL training, and I'm like, and I saw what I believed how a man should feel, very, have pride and dignity in himself.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to change myself. So literally, I sat down on the couch and watched these guys going through SEAL training, and I went through my own mental checklist of how f***ed up I am and how many things I would have to change just to get an opportunity to try out for something like that. Have to get smarter, have to get fit, have to lose weight, have to do all these things, start running, swimming, everything. So I finally get to a point where I get the courage to go to a recruiter and say, hey, I want to go try to do this. But when you're 297 pounds and you're going to go try to be one of the fittest people in the world, you get laughed at. So I got laughed at a lot. But in this process was actually hardening my mind. All the laughter, because the laughter used to make me cower. Now I realize that I can no longer hide from my insecurities, hide from all these fears. I had to start wearing them.
Yeah.
I had to start talking about them. I had to start being vulnerable because I was always afraid of them. So here I am now. I'm facing them. I finally find a recruiter that says, hey, we'll take you in. And he says, you have less than 3 months to lose 106 pounds. I'm like, that's impossible. So that was my mindset. But I was like, hey, I can't have that kind of mindset. So I went into the dungeon and started using all my insecurities as strength. Instead of looking at being bullied and my dad messing me up and all this stuff like that, I looked at it as, who could have survived all this and still be here with the opportunity to go into Navy SEAL training? And so I started using all these negative things and started flipping everything on top of his head. Instead of saying, woe is me, kicking rocks, head down in the dirt, I started saying, there's not a motherfucker on the planet who would have this opportunity coming from where I came from. They would be a statistic.
Yeah.
So I started looking at it as power versus like big time defeat.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video, and what is your plan of action that you're going to execute this week to make some immediate momentum happen? When you just get motivated and watch a video, you have a 35% chance of following through. That's what the science says. But when you write down what time, what day, what place you're actually going to execute, when you create the plan, you have a 91% chance of following through. And I want that for you. And when you commit to people publicly, you increase your chances even more of actually doing it. So I want to know what your single biggest takeaway from this video was, and your specific plan of action to actually get the result you're after. Let me know. Put it down in the comments below, because I want to celebrate you.
This might be a weird question, but are you grateful for those times? You know, the times with your father, all the hardship, all the trial. Like, how do you view that stuff now that you feel like you've overcome that and become something new entirely?
Honestly, man, I'm very grateful for it. I'm more grateful for that than being a SEAL, going to Ranger school, anything I've ever done in my life. So people always go like you know, they come to my house, and I've done so many races and so many different things. I don't have an I love me wall. You walk in my house, it's like you see the decorations on the wall what my fiance has done. There's nothing about me. And they go, why is that, man? You've done so much in your life. Man, all this shit up here is priceless. Like, everything I've gone through, all this, like the journey of my life has been something that I can never ever be able to say enough about. You know, it is who I am. You know, like, everybody wants to be proud of themselves. When you finally become proud of yourself, you no longer give a flying what it took to get there. And that's what people always say, man, look at you, man. You know, you have all this stuff happen to your skin and your body's broken, this and that. The feeling I have in my mind is priceless. And if somebody would say you had to do it over again to get this feeling again, I'd do it all over again.
You would?
All over again.
Interesting.
With a smile on my face.
If you want to change your life in the next 30 days for free, check out my training right here below. Or if you want 10 more awesome rules from David Goggins, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.